are still squeezing, pointing towards a massive move that is building in the price of Bitcoin, while this chart is still flashing a warning signal for Bitcoin, while Ethereum is now running into this critical area of support again. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, taking a look at the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the Bollinger Bands indicator is still currently squeezing, which basically means we're experiencing a period of low volatility, but getting closer towards massive volatility. Because as we can see here, usually when the Bollinger Bands squeeze together, when they contract, that happens just before a major volatile move in the price of Bitcoin. And we can see that even more clearly in the Bollinger Bands width indicator, which basically shows us how wide the Bollinger Bands are. And so, of course, if the Bollinger Bands width indicator is low, that means the Bollinger Bands are squeezing together. There is a small width. But if the Bollinger Bands width indicator is up here, that means they've just expanded. And as of right now, the Bollinger Bands width indicator has been sitting below 20, so below this level right here, for roughly around 1 month now, since near the beginning of May. And so this is actually the longest the Bollinger Bands width indicator has been sitting below 20 in this indicator right here for well over a year now. If we're looking at the last 1 to 2 years worth of history, not a single time has the Bollinger Bands width indicator stayed this low for this long. And so this is simply telling us that, of course, in the present, what we are seeing right now, we are experiencing a period of very low volatility, but this is also telling us that coming very soon, potentially in the coming weeks, we could likely see an extremely volatile move. And usually the tighter the Bollinger Bands get, the more volatile, the more explosive that move is. And if we're taking a look at some of these previous examples, I've actually talked more about these previous examples in recent videos here on the channel over the last 1 to 2 weeks. But basically, in most of these cases, we've seen a volatile move in the price of Bitcoin play out once we see the expansion of these indicators. And the volatile move that comes next in the price of Bitcoin is usually around a 20 to 30% move within around 1 to 2 weeks from when that move actually starts. And usually we see the start of that volatile move begin actually playing out within a few weeks or so from when we start seeing the Bollinger Bands squeeze together. And so in this first example, we saw the volatile move basically within a week from when this signal was flashing on the chart. So that happened very quickly. And then in this second example, we actually had to wait closer towards around 3 weeks before we finally saw that volatile move in the price of Bitcoin, which was around a 20 to 30% move that played out in the span of less than a week. But once again, even though the volatile move itself played out within a week, the actual start of that move was around a few weeks after we saw this signal flash. And then if we're looking at this third example, we saw that volatile move begin playing out within around 1 week from this signal flashing right here in the Bollinger Bands. And if we're looking at this fourth example, we also saw a similar thing to the third example where we saw that volatile move begin playing out within around 1 week from this signal in the Bollinger Bands. And so once again, it's been close to a month now that we've started to see this signal flash in the Bollinger Bands, basically a squeeze or a contraction in the Bollinger Bands. And so this is telling us that a massive move is building in the price of Bitcoin and is likely going to happen, honestly, any day now, any week now. This volatile move could likely begin. And we will know that the volatile move is starting once we actually see a reasonable uptick here in the Bollinger Bands width indicator, which at least as of right now has not really happened. And just for fun, if we're measuring out, say, a 30% move, let's just say if the next volatile move in the price of Bitcoin is a quick 30% move, either up or down, a 30% move from where we are right now to the downside will take us down towards around 48 to 49,000, so just below 50K, and a 30% move to the upside would quickly take the price of Bitcoin to around $90,000. And in order to determine the direction of the move, of course, we are within a larger bullish market, a bullish trend on the larger time frame. So technically speaking, it is more likely to be a bullish move rather than a bearish move. But in order to really know the direction of the next volatile move in the price of Bitcoin here on the larger time frames, we ultimately just need to wait to see either resistance broken or support broken. So we need to keep an eye on those levels on the chart, which I'll talk about in just a moment. And that is not me just saying the price is either going to go up or down. That is me telling you that a massive volatile move is currently building in the price, and we can trade that move in either direction using signals and price targets. And so just for an example, if we start confirming a break below support, then we can trade a potential volatile move to the bearish direction, entering at the break below support and exiting near that potential price target for a volatile move. And so in that section of the volatile move, that is where we could profit if, of course, we confirm that signal. But on the other hand, if we confirm the bullish signal breaking out above resistance, then once we confirm that signal just above that resistance right there, then in that case, we could potentially trade that move to the upside with a long position, for example, up towards the potential bullish price target for that bullish move, for that volatile move. And so by doing that, we can actually make money in either direction as traders. So it does not matter what direction the price goes. And once again, it is important to have a plan in place for either direction and know the potential entries and exits, the signals to watch out for in order to make money in either direction once again. But as always, I'll keep you up to date on what's happening in the markets every day here on the channel anyway. So make sure you stay subscribed to this channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important update videos. And as of right now, here on this 3-day Bitcoin chart, the price of Bitcoin is still potentially forming an inverse head and shoulders pattern, which is a bullish pattern if we can confirm a breakout above this neckline, which is sitting at around 71.7K if we're looking at these 3-day candle closes. And so once again, in order to confirm this pattern and the bullish price target, we need to see ideally a 3-day candle close above this neckline and ideally above these highs at around 73 to 74,000 to become more confident that we're actually flipping bullish. And in that case, if we confirm a breakout above this neckline and above this resistance, that will be a strong signal that we're playing out that massive volatile move in the bullish direction. And in that case, that would activate a bullish price target for this pattern sitting at around 86 to 87,000. But once again, at least as of right now, that potential scenario has not yet been confirmed because we have not yet confirmed a breakout above this resistance. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, what's very interesting is right now in the DXY, also known as the US dollar index, this is still experiencing a bounce to the upside, at least in the shorter term, which is technically a warning signal, a potential bearish signal for Bitcoin and crypto, at least in the shorter term here. And if we're taking a look at the DXY, this is currently sitting at horizontal highs. It's basically sitting right at around where this previous high was sitting at. And so obviously this would not be a good signal for Bitcoin. This would be a bearish signal for Bitcoin if we continue to see a bit more of a bounce to the upside, forming a new higher high in the DXY, and especially if we start forming higher lows again. Because basically anytime where we see a new higher high and higher low confirm, that is a sign of a potential bullish trend reversal, which here in the DXY, a bullish trend is bearish for Bitcoin and crypto. And vice versa, if the DXY is trending in the bearish direction, that is almost always bullish for Bitcoin and crypto. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, right now the price of Bitcoin is still basically within a choppy sideways price range in between this area of support and this area of resistance. And this area of support is still sitting in between 67,000 to 68,000. And this area of resistance is sitting in between around 72,000 to 74,000. And so at least in the shorter term, the price of Bitcoin is looking relatively neutral as the price is basically chopping around sideways in this sideways price range. And as I said earlier in the video, if the price starts breaking out above 72 to 74,000, if we start breaking out basically above the all-time high, which is right here, close to 74,000, then that would be a very strong signal, obviously pointing in the bullish direction, basically revealing that we're most likely going to be playing out that massive volatile move in the bullish direction if we first start confirming a breakout above this resistance, which obviously as of right now has not happened. And so at least for now, we're still looking relatively neutral once again, while the price is still in this sideways price range. But if we start breaking below around 67,000, so if we see daily candle closes back below 67K, then in that case, we could likely see a move back down towards this area, sitting in between 63 to 64,000. And if we start breaking below that area, and especially below these lows right here, closer towards 60 to 61,000, then that would be a strong signal if we start breaking below some some of these lower levels on the chart, that would be a strong signal that we're pointing towards the bearish direction on the larger time frames, potentially move back down towards around $50,000 if we actually start breaking below these lows, which obviously as of right now has not happened. And so once again, at least in the shorter term, we're just waiting for one of those signals to confirm. And the moment one of those signals confirms, then we can finally start flipping much more bullish or much more bearish and actually take those potential trades to profit from either direction. And once again, until then, we're still looking relatively neutral while the price is still chopping around sideways in this sideways price range. But believe it or not, you can actually make a lot of easy profits from choppy sideways price action just like this. And if you want to know how to do that, then stick around to the end of this video to find out more. And if we're taking a quick look at this 2-hour Bitcoin chart, looking at the much shorter term, we can see that since the week has started, we have actually seen a little bit more volatility compared to the weekend. But obviously, as of right now, we're still seeing relatively low volatility even here in the immediate short term. But this is most likely going to change this week because in just a couple of days from now, we do have some major events like new CPI inflation data coming out and a new Fed meeting, basically an interest rate decision from the Federal Reserve. But because that happens in a couple of days from now, I'll talk more about that tomorrow in my next video and what we can potentially expect from those events. But basically, because we have those two major financial events happening this week, that is likely going to cause more volatility in the next few days. And in the meantime, my Bitcoin trading strategy has not changed over the last few days. So as of right now, I'm still currently in a $100,000 Bitcoin long position with my stop loss well into profits. And so overall, I am still bullish on the price of Bitcoin, especially in terms of the larger move, the larger trends that's playing out. But even if the price crashes right now, in the worst case scenario for this long position, I'll still make profits from this trade because my stop loss is in profits and I've already realized some profits from this trade. And as always, I've been sharing this trading strategy very transparently, basically every single day since I began entering into the trade below $60,000 here on this channel. I was mentioning that when the price was back down there. And so this is yet another reason why it is important to have notifications turned on for this channel so that you don't miss out on any of these important update videos where I'm sharing these trading strategies where you could potentially make a lot of easy money as I'm doing right here. And personally, I'm taking this trade and basically all of my Bitcoin and crypto trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim a 200 USDT airdrop position just by making a Bybit account using that link, making a deposit and claiming the airdrop. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex down below this video as an alternative crypto exchange. And if we're taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we can still see a massive area of liquidity sitting to the upside just above 72,000, more specifically in between around 72.2k to 72.4k approximately. And we do have a small amount of liquidity to the downside sitting just above 68,000, basically in between around 68,000 to 68.3k. And so over the last one day, this liquidation heat map has not really changed all that much. So if you want to know more about this chart and what it means for Bitcoin moving forward, then check out my last video here on the channel. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, right now the price of ETH is obviously still lacking that bullish momentum, at least in the short term, as I've been saying for a while now on the channel. But with that being said, technically speaking, this bullish breakout for this falling wedge is not yet invalid, because in order to invalidate this breakout altogether and this price target and this pattern right here, we have to break back below the point of the breakout, which is sitting at around 3.2k. So technically speaking, we still have a bullish price target at around 40.70 approximately. But once again, at least in the somewhat shorter term here, the price is clearly lacking momentum. Once again, as I've been saying for a while, for a couple of weeks now. And if we're taking a look at the 8-hour time frame, right now the price of ETH is running into this critical area of support again, which was previous support and previous resistance. And this is also based on a Fibonacci area, the golden pocket, sitting in between around 3.6k to 3650. And so at least as of right now, that is still the important area of support to pay attention to in the short term. But if we confirm a break with candle closes below 3.6k, then in that case, we do have the next level of support sitting at around 3450. And below that, we have a significant level of support closer towards 3.3k. But at least for now, that golden pocket is still the support to pay attention to. And if we see a further bounce from that area, then in that case, we do have resistance at around 3820, more resistance at around 3870, and around 3950. And if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at the 2-hour time frame, we can see this new bullish divergence here on the 2-hour charts, with lower lows confirmed in the price in the candle closes and higher lows confirmed in the RSI. And so this is essentially an extension from that previous short-term bullish divergence that I talked about in my last video, which played out in the form of a very slight bullish relief and some more choppy sideways price action. And ultimately since then, the price has basically just chopped around sideways. We're sitting right at around where we started that previous short-term bullish divergence. And so most likely we're going to continue this type of price action, at least in the immediate short term, as in over the next 1 day or so, because usually a bullish divergence plays out in the form of either choppy sideways price action like this, or potentially a bullish relief as the most likely outcomes, at least in the short term. And if we're taking a look at ETH BTC on the weekly time frame, this is Ethereum versus Bitcoin. At least as of right now, this is still technically looking more bearish than bullish. Clearly, when we're looking at the trend, this is forming lower highs and lower lows. And we've just recently seen another rejection from this resistance over the last couple of weeks, which is a bearish signal for ETH BTC. And in case you're new to this channel, this basically means that Ethereum is currently underperforming against Bitcoin. So basically, Bitcoin is simply doing better than Ethereum, at least as of right now. And if we're taking a quick look at the price of Solana on the 8-hour time frame, over the last 1 day, we've basically just seen some choppy sideways price action, which is exactly what I said we're most likely going to see in my last video. And the reason behind that is because we just recently saw a break below that critical 160 level, but we didn't really see any follow through with that break to the downside, which basically means even though we saw that bearish signal, we did not really pick up a lot of bearish momentum. And so we were clearly lacking bearish momentum, so momentum to the downside, but we also do not really have a lot of momentum to the upside, which basically means the overall market, at least for Solana right now, is lacking momentum, pointing towards a sideways consolidation or some choppy sideways price action as the most likely scenario just in the short term here. And so this is still currently the most likely scenario potentially over the next day. Once again, we're most likely going to see just some choppy sideways price action like what we've seen over the last 1 day. And as for these other levels of support and resistance on the chart, these have not really changed over the last 1 day. So if you want to know more about those other levels on this Solana chart, then check out my last couple of videos here on the channel. But either way, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, once again, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways like it is doing right now, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions and short positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.